Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I have a ranked monsters deck for you guys in the Consume Monsters deck, which we can see here, the Consume Swarm deck. So the way this deck works is that we have a lot of small units, and we consume units in order to trigger consume effects, which helps us, get more small units, basically. So our leader, for example, will consume 3 allies and strengthen himself for them. We have our Arachas. Whenever an ally consumes a card, spawn an Arachas, and damage self by 1, ignoring armor, deploy, gain 2 armor. So we basically play these and then consume things, which will spawn 1 Arachas on the middle row. And then an Arachas, when you spawn an Arachas, you then also trigger the Arachas effect, which plays all Arachas from your deck. So if we can spawn 1, we can then thin these 3 cards from our deck, and we can start to stack Arachas on this middle row. Once we have kind of some Arachas on the middle row, we can start to eat them with our Vran Warriors, for example. Deploy, consume the unit to the right. Every 2 turns at the start of your turn, consume the unit to the right. So we'll start consuming units with these as well. Then we have our Celeano Harpy. Deploy, spawn 2 Harpy eggs to the left of this unit, so we can use the Harpies to spawn eggs. And the eggs, when consumed by another unit, boost the unit by an additional 5. Deathwish, spawn a Harpy on a random row. We've got 1 Ekamara. Deploy, gain resilience. Consume an ally, so this again consumes something and then stays on the board till the next round, so we have a little bit of carryover. We have a couple Archgriffins just for weather clear, and we have 1 Dimeritium Shackles just in case we want to lock something, say a gold unit for example. And those are our bronze cards. Then onto our silver cards, we have 1 Frightener. Move a unit to another row on this side. Move a unit on another row on this side to this row. So basically you play it on your opponent's side and move units to the same row as the Frightener. We've got our 3 Crones in all of their premium glory. When you play one of these, it'll summon the other 2 from your deck, which could be a really nice power play in either the 3rd round or, maybe the 1st round. Similarly, we have Grave Hag, which you play on the final round. After 1 turn, at the start of your turn, consume all units in your graveyard, but only boost self by 1 for each. So we can basically use this to get a big power play because we'll have lots of units in our graveyard from the Harpies and from the Arachas, for example. Then we have Fiend, which we can use to lock a unit and also half its strength, which is quite nice, so it can be used for damage or for locking. Then onto our special cards, we have Ciri. Because we're running Grave Hag as a win condition, I think it's nice to have Frightener and Ciri in this deck to really guarantee that you can get that out. Obviously, it takes a turn to trigger, which gives your opponent a turn to counter it, but ideally what you want to do, if you have enough card advantage, you can play it without them having a chance to counter it, which is nice. We also have Regis. Deploy, look at 3 random bronze units in your opponent's deck and consume 1, so that's another consume, and boost self by the base power of the unit. We have Igni, destroy the highest units on the opposite row if that row totals 20 or more power, so that's just a nice kind of burn. And then we have Corinthia, move 3 enemies to the unit's row on the opposite side and apply frost to that row, so a little bit of weather in there as well. Anyway guys, if you like this deck, do hit that thumbs up button, and without further ado, I'm going to jump into a game and showcase this deck in action for you.
The gate must be secure. Why should I help you?
Okay, so we got the mirror match, which means cards like Dimeritium Shackles will be really useful for the final round. In terms of our mulligan, we're getting rid of any Arachas that we might have, and also, trying to put it so that we only have 1 Crone. As it is, we don't have any Crones. We do have 1 Weather Clear. I'm going to hold on to 1. I don't think you need any more in this matchup, because typically they don't play much weather, but 1 is nice. 2 Arachas is good. We have Frightener, and we have Ciri, which is quite good for the final round. So I think what we might do is mulligan the Ekamara and see what we can pull. Regis, that was a worthwhile swap, I think. We lose the carryover, but we should be okay here. Okay, so we have a pretty nice hand, all things told. In terms of our opener, we want to basically get our Arachas out and then start consuming things. So I'm going to start with an Arachas, and then we'll play the Harpy into the Vran Warrior, into more Arachas. And there's the Shackles of theirs, that's fine, we'll just play another Arachas. It's not really the end of the world if they lock 1. I mean, if he has Fiend and he can lock the other one, that's going to be a pain in the ass. But we've now baited out all of his removal. We are cards up at this point, so potentially what we could do is pass. We don't have any kind of way to trigger the Arachas effect, unfortunately, because he has locked them both, and we don't have any way to remove it, unless we draw a Fiend or a... an unlock with our Frightener. So let's play Frightener. An Arachas. So we can use that to pull out our Arachas. We could also start just eating these. That's another option, basically. I wonder if he's going to play more cards. The thing is, he's only 11 ahead at the moment, so it's not really worth him passing yet. He's going to play more cards. I'm going to play Ciri.
You talked enough.
And again, like, he's only 15 ahead, so I'm wondering if he'll feel comfortable passing or not. There's the pass. So we can play Corinthia, which will give us 9, 10, 11. We could play Regis, but I don't think it's worth it. I think at this stage we pass and have the 2-card advantage. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to set up our swarm of spiderlings, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. What are we going to draw? I bet you we draw another freaking Arachas. A Harpy and a Griffin. We can mulligan the Griffin, but we risk pulling an Arachas, which would be really awkward here. And there it is. That is the risk I didn't really want to take, but, you know, it is what it is. These things do happen. So we can start by, we can play out our Harpies here, basically. He might turn that pass in order to try and get card advantage back, or he might try and 2-0 me. That is also an option. We'll kind of wait and see what our opponent chooses to do. We don't have Crones, which is really awkward. Like, in terms of our draw, this draw hasn't been the greatest for us. Let's see what he eats. A Vran Warrior. That's okay, because that's probably not going to be the most useful thing for us, to be honest. So let's play our Harpies here. And we've seen his Fiend. Okay, so we've seen his Fiend and his D-Bomb, which is kind of annoying. But again, not the end of the world. And then we'll set our little Vran Warrior off on his eating spree. I'm not really looking for carryover here so much as just, like, points, basically. The only thing is we are obviously risking stacking the row. But as he stacked the row, what we can do, I think, is if we play Corinthia on the bottom row.
There is no escape.
And move these two. And then frost that. That's not a bad strategy here. We'll break the egg, and that fortunately spawned on this row, which is pretty nice for us. So now we can at least start to deal a little bit of damage. Lacerate, interesting. So he's not too bothered by the weather. We'll put another Harpy out on this row here, like so. Then more eggs to eat, and start to rack up some points. The problem is he can Unseen Elder his Arachas, and if he Unseen Elders his Arachas, you know, that's not going to get affected by the frost. I imagine that's probably what his plan is here. Unfortunately, like I say, we haven't seen our Crones, so we might just get pressured out, especially with what we have in hand. Yeah, so there's the kind of eating going on, unfortunately. I think I'm okay to put this one out for now. On the end of the row. I don't think he's going to play Weather. There's a Necker. Neckers are irritating, but not the end of the world. Let's play Regis and try and eat a Necker from this deck if we can. Which we can. We can eat Ekamara, but that's not that useful. Ghoul is, you know, random. I think we're going to go for the Necker eat. Basically, put it in his graveyard. Ooh, spores. Gross. You can see we're pretty much tied up here, though. And he's going to eat another egg, so that's okay. We'll play our Siri. And we are still 2 cards up, remember. And he needs a win condition for the final round, which is, I guess is his Grave Hag. Oh, there's a second Necker. That's kind of big. So he's eaten the egg. Now he's 8. And he can keep eating things, but it's not really going to help us here. So what we'll do is we'll play our Unseen Elder.
The gate must be secure.
We'll eat Archgriffin. We'll eat Vran Warrior. And we'll eat Harpy. We're still slightly behind. I wonder if he's going to try and all-in us. I don't think he is because of how many cards we have. There's the pass. We need to play one more card in order to win this, so we'll play this Arachas. And that's gotten us the round. We do have card advantage coming into this final round, but, you know, does he have Crones? And do we have enough in our graveyard for the Ghoul play is the question, really. I think if I played the Arachas there, actually, I would have been ahead, and that would have been nice. Oh, a Crone! If I mulligan this Arachas and draw a Crone, I'm actually going to kill myself. Oh, I hate my life. I hate my life. And now they're not lined up nicely either. Oh, it's horrible. What's he got? He's Imlerith. Okay. And then we'll play our Grave Hag. He's done his damage, which is nice. We need a turn for Grave Hag, which is why we have to play it here. Caretaker. What are you going to pull? I don't think it's going to be enough for him. We've got the tempo play in the final round. I mean, I guess you take a 7. But that still means we're on 12. Gravehag triggers and eats everything. 14 into the final crone. And that's game. And that's our tempo play for the final round, you can see there. And even though he had golden cards, it wasn't enough for him to win the round. And you saw we got locked out at the start. You know, it wasn't the bestest of Consume games, but Consume, it just, you have enough that it's normally okay. And he didn't have his removal for our Gravehag because he played that first. If he'd played that, what he should have done is played Caretaker first, and then played the removal, and then removed the Gravehag. And that probably would have won him the game. I think he misplayed the last round. Anyway, let's jump into another game, and I'll showcase this deck in action once more for you.
The gate must be secure.
Okay, so we're up against Dagon, and Dagon usually means Foglets, so we want to keep as many Archgriffins as we can find. We've got one there. We've got an Arachas, Gravehag, Fiend, a Crone, Ciri, and Regis. This isn't too bad of a hand. I'm going to mulligan one of my Harpies into an Arachas. We'll get rid of that. Into Igni. That's not really bad, all things told. I don't want to mulligan again, I don't think. I mean, I could go looking for more anti-weather, but this hand isn't too bad. All things turn. All things turn, all things told. Earth Elemental is our Arachas. And we could actually play Regis to trigger an Arachas effect. That's not a bad strategy. The risk is if you stack the row too heavily, you know, bad things can happen. We'll play Griffin, because we are going for the Consume strategy this turn. The only problem is we don't have a second weather removal, so if he replays it, that's going to be awkward for us. He probably has Woodland Spirit, and he's got Dagon. Oh, come on. What are the chances? Anyway, we'll play Regis here. And we'll eat... I mean, they both give him carryover. I think we eat the Earth Elemental. Small points. And this should then summon our Arachas, and that pulls all the Arachas, which is nice. And then we can start eating things, basically. It's not a bad strategy. We don't have Gravehag, which is kind of annoying. Oh, no, we do have Gravehag. Why did I think that we didn't? I was looking up here by the Crone, like, we don't have Gravehag. We do, in fact, have Gravehag, Jaggerous. There's a Harpy. We can play our... yeah, we play our Vran Warrior. And then we'll play our eggs, and then we'll play our Consume Dude, basically. This isn't a deck that's likely to run, you know, a gold card strategy for the final round with a lot of removal. Otherwise, we hold on to Unseen Elder, because we could do an Unseen Elder Crone combo against stuff like Radovid Control, where their final hand is typically Villain, Trent, and Mirth, because you can then eat all of the Crones, and have 25 points, which is basically safe. He's got a lot of carryover for the next round, but that's okay, because we don't really intend to win it. And I think we'll look to do our eat strategy in just a second. We can actually burn the Earth Elemental, but unfortunately we can't burn, you know, anything else. Is he going to rain me? Lacerate. Ooh, painful. That basically kills the whole row. It's not really the end of the world, though. We have, you know, plenty of stuff to trigger. So I think now, yeah, we go for the Unseen Elder. We'll pop him out. We'll eat the Vran Warrior, which will then trigger this Arachas pulling out. We'll eat the Griffin. And I'll eat one of the little baby Arachas. And you can see we're still ahead here, which is nice. We do have our 2 tempo plays for the final round. So I'm kind of happy to just keep playing cards at this stage. I don't think he has anything that can be a massive swing, and now if he plays Fog, it's not going to be that useful for him. Come on, play something.
You'd best yield now.
Oh, that's a nice play, actually, into Unicorn, because I just ate all of my cards. And you can actually decoy Unicorn, which is really annoying. You can decoy Unicorn and play it again. It's a shame I don't have... Oh! If I lock in half this, I can then burn all 3 of those. Let's do that. That's then a 25-point Igni. He must see it coming, right? It will though spawn all of his little 2s. It'll spawn a bunch of... Oh no, this isn't the one that does 2s. I mixed him up. He's the one that spawns 2s, and I've just locked him. So this is actually a really good play. You gotta kind of keep your eyes open for these kind of things. And that will put us ahead, obviously. You gonna unlock it? Oh, Commander's Horn. Oh, we only get to burn 2 11s then, but I still think that's a pretty big Igni. Should put us ahead. Oh, we're tied! Look at that. If I play Siri, it basically forces his pass here. Or we play Crones and just go for it. This is the question. I think he's quite committed to this round, though, so I think we can probably afford to play Crones. And go for the pull. I hate that they're not lined up. I always try and keep Crone Whispers if I can, just so you get the really nice animated lineup. I'm 6 ahead of him, but he's going to do 2, so I'm actually only 4 ahead of him. Maybe I shouldn't have played Crones and saved them for the next round. The thing is, he's going to have carryover and I'm not. He's got these 2. So that's going to make life a bit difficult. Has he got Lock Igni? He's possibly got Lock Igni. If he does... So we're still ahead here. Oh no, we're not. Never mind. He just decoyed freaking unicorn. That's such an irritating strategy. We can try and bait him into more cards, but I don't think it's going to work. You know, I think he's got more common sense than that. There's the pass. Oh, this is a horrible situation for us to be in. I maybe should have gone with the Siri rather than the... the Crones. I think that would have been smarter. I thought I had enough power to kind of force him out on this one. He only keeps 2 3s though, so that's not the end of the world. We got an Arachas, but we got nothing to consume. Potentially we mulligan Siri here. We're not really going to get much value out of her. She's only worth 5. Let's mulligan Siri. Frightener, that is not what we wanted. That is not what we wanted at all. I don't think there's anything I can do about this. Unless we play it. We play this for now. I don't want to have to Gravehag now to win the round. Oh, and I don't have to. Thank fuck for that. And then we can mulligan the Frightener. Ugh. Ugh. Not fun. Not fun at all. Okay. You, my dear, are getting mulliganed. Like, we could have done with the Frightener the previous round. Shackles. We keep Shackles, we mulligan Frightener. Then if he does play Gravehag, we can lock his Gravehag, which is pretty nice. This is actually a consume effect, which is kind of cool. And if he does lock mine, I can unlock it.
How can I help?
Ew, Trispa. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. That's actually a really nice play. Oh, I can lock her! Shit. Oh, so he's dead. Oh no, he's not. He's consumed. I thought he was gonna die to fog. Let's just lock you. None of that. Oh man. Stressful. What's he got? I win! Do I win? I win by 1! Oh, it's a miracle. I definitely misplayed this on the first turn. I should have gone Siri instead of Crones. But you can see the power of Gravehag. And the fact that I managed to lock his Trispa managed to win me that round. Oh, Jesus. So much monsters today. You'd expect a bit, you know, not monsters. But you can see why everyone is running monsters, because they are quite successful. Oh dear, that was a bit of a mess, those 2 games. But, like, this is the thing with monsters. Even when it's a mess, it still kind of works out and you still come out on top. Look at this 1 point. Anyway, we'll send our GG and we'll get on with it. And you can see, as you can see, we're climbing the ranks quite comfortably here, coming up towards the 3-7 MMR, which will be nice. But yeah, if you like this video, do hit that thumbs up button, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, the kind of changes that you would make. I know some people like to run Water Hag for the Lacerate, for example, which is a really nice card. You could run that maybe instead of Frightener, because we have Frightener and Siri, but I do like having, you know, the option of card advantage, and the consistency of card advantage, so that's my personal opinion. Similarly, like, you could replace Siri with a different gold card, maybe Caretaker, for example. But again, I just like having that consistency of draw, and I wouldn't really switch out Igni, I wouldn't switch out, what else is in here? Regis just works. Whoops, I don't want to search. Too late. Regis works really well with other cards. Anyway, guys, If you like this video, like I say, hit that thumbs up button. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. Bye.